How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Caswell Customs. Vinny,
Tim,
and today we're placing a track on, what year model is this, Tim?
this is a 2015 Freeride. I bought it 2 years ago and it had a couple lugs missing on the track. And last year we were going down to get some breakfast and this happened. It ripped out this whole piece and a couple of other ones on the other side. And yeah, so I put the new track up here to hang, stretch out a little bit, straighten out. We've got some new hyfax going onto it, just so it's easy to replace them. And yeah, we're gonna get to it and see what we can do.
Yep, so we got some of the simple things already done. Just get some of the plastics off the side. You know, it's pretty simple. It's just your two side panels. They come off real easy. So we're gonna go ahead and start tearing into it and show you how to get this done. Start by taking the battery out, that way you can get better access at the chain case. So pretty simple. Just go ahead and unbolt these. Go ahead and just put them back in so you don't lose any of the screws. Oh, that's dumb. What's that? That's a good way to lose this, because the battery is put on its side and this is literally on the bottom. So as soon as you pull the bolt out,
Oh, on the negative?
yeah, that falls out. And it's like, well, that's a good way to lose it in the snow. Got the battery out. We're gonna go ahead and move the tray. That way we can get the chain case cover completely off. So we're gonna get this removed, and then before we open this up, we're gonna get a drain pan underneath here, because obviously you've got your chain case fluid. So I'm gonna get this off real quick. Instead of undoing all of this cabling, we're just undoing this bracket, and we're just gonna get this all off to the side, and then just pull this part. Go ahead and put all your nuts back, that way you don't lose any of them. So obviously, if you don't have an aftermarket exhaust, you're going to be stuck pulling your exhaust on this, because this can is so small, still able to work in here to get this all out. You got the big suitcase, you got to pull that bad boy out, and while you got it out, just throw a can on it. So you got this out. There's 2 bolts down here. 1 and 2, and then there's one over here, and then there's the one that holds this bracket. So once you get those 4 off, do that. It's also this plug that goes from the chain case to this. I think that's your speedometer, but I'm not positive. But once we get that off, now we'll be able to actually get this chain case cover off. So we'll start undoing all the bolts. I'm going to get a drain pan underneath there to catch all the chain case oil. I was wrong. Even if you have a can, you're going to take this out, because you got to pull this out into the side. So this all has to come forward and come out. So you're going to get this out of the way. I don't want to undo this O2 sensor. So this is long enough that we're just going to get it rested right there, and it should be fine. We might end up taking that off. Obviously we have to tip the sled over to get the track out, but for now it'll be okay. I'd rather not mess with the O2 sensor if I don't have to. So in order to get the weight off of that, so we can get that out, we got to finish getting the chain case cover off so we can undo the main drive line, drive shaft. So we're going to finish getting these bolts out, get all the chain case oil drained. As you can see, I've now got it loose and it's just starting to pour out of there. Shit.
Yeah.
Starting to leak forward, which I don't want. They're Harbor Freight jacks, so don't sit under it. But here much. Alright, as you can see, it's all starting to come out, but it was leaking forward a little bit, so get the front end of the sled off. And we're going to end up tipping a little bit as well. Wow, man, this is some nasty looking shit. Definitely needed a chain case flush. Good. Got the last one out, so now we're just going to finagle the exhaust out of the way and gently get that out of there. Oh, look at that soupiness. So definitely was in need of a chain case flush anyways. So good thing we're doing all this now.
Never better time than now.
Oh, that was fun. Alright, beautiful. Nice and cleaned out, and I'm going to wipe it down and go ahead and get snap ring pliers on that and get that out.
Real hard turn. So if you break the jam nut loose, you can turn it by hand. Oh, it's getting easier too. Sweet.
Probably started getting into some of that chain case oil.
Yeah, move it up. Oh, yeah. So then we do snap ring. So once you get the snap ring off, you can take the bottom gear out. Take the chain off. Bring the side that was outside up. So, and then from there we should just be able to get some weight off the skid and pull the skid out, and we'll be able to get the track off. So we gotta take the brake rotor out and off, which means we gotta get the shield out, which is just 3 bolts, top, bottom right, and then bottom left. And then apparently it is some kind of a configuration wiggle game to get the actual housing off.
Here's my question.
There it is. So you gotta rotate the track. Once you get the snap ring off, you've gotta rotate the track around so that these eye holes line up with these bolts. And there should be 3 bolts. One here, and one here. And then the entire brake and rotor assembly should be able to be wiggled off. Actually 4 bolts, just evenly spaced around, and then there's a backing plate on the back that we actually have to rotate so that it can everything can drop out, but we are gonna have to get the suspension out before this will let go because it can't have the weight on it.
Or take it off.
No, your torque spec is break it first, then put it on, and never be able to get it off.
True. Definitely. Pretty sure that I just dropped it. Yeah.
Oh, so the nut's out?
Yep.
Okay. Perfect.
That one. Do that side. Alright, so we ran into a bit of a snag. The issue that we're having is this back skid bolt down here. It's right here. It has the bolt, super thin nut, and then like a retainer in the back. And to be able to get this bolt out, you've got to take the retainer nut and hold it, and there's probably only maybe a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch. There is a special tool for it. All the Skidoo dealers are closed. I've looked up a couple of like fan puller wrenches. I don't think that those are going to work. So in the sake of trying to get something going today, I'm going to run up to Home Depot, pick up some flat steel, and see if we can't cut something. I've got to go up there anyways and pick up a couple of other things. So we'll see if it goes. Hopefully it does. Alright guys, so I'm not really normally the type of person to videotape everything, so I have a hard time stopping once I get started. So I'm going to try to talk you through everything I just did. I was able to figure out how to get the bolts out of the back of the skid. They have Loctite on them from the factory. Skidoo puts it on apparently everything. And So you have to heat it to be able to get it off. So I had made a couple of different tools. One of which looks like this. This is the one that actually ended up working. And the problem that I was having was that there was so much torque required to pull the bolts out that it was actually taking these wings and folding them out. Because obviously this is not the right tool. There should be, you know, way more meat on this, but this is just an old grinder wrench that I opened up to about 7/8 of an inch. So I heated the bolts, the ones that go right in here. I heated them up, and then I put this on, and then I actually pinched it with a pair of just regular, you know, so that way the ears wouldn't flare out. I heated it, and then I heated it a lot. I used this little torch. Actually set my heat gun under it for a little bit, and this right here is the actual piece. See if we can't get it to focus a little bit. So this is the actual piece that you need the spanner wrench for, and the bolt threads all the way through here. So I heated up the back side of it, was able to pull the bolt out, drop the skid. I had the front ones out, came easy, or front ones came out easy, and then I just loosened this back axle and then turned out the tensioners, and yeah, so now we kind of got it all set up so that all I gotta do is pull that drive gear wheel, whatever it's called, out, and yeah, we'll be able to get everything changed off. Alright guys, so I was able to get the skid out tonight, make sure that everything was good with that, but I was not able to get the caliper off of the actual sled. So there's a tool for it. It's basically just 2 bolts and a plate and then a push bolt. I didn't order it because everything that I looked up online, I mean, a lot of guys said that they just pulled it off. Being that this sled's older, I should have known better, but you live and you learn. So what I am talking about is this assembly back here is actually all one piece with the caliper. So the caliper itself doesn't have like a bolt to mount it. It is just this whole piece. So I've got to get the puller. It bolts through the rotor, through this, and then the nut goes on the back of it, and then it pushes on a stack of washers that covers this plastic cap. So I'm going to look at Harbor Freight tomorrow and see if I can't find like a harmonic balancer that'll pull it. I might call Skidoo dealer, but I don't know. So, yep. We are about done for tonight. I'm gonna get everything ready for the week, and we'll let you guys know when we get back to it. Morning, guys. So it is Monday. I got off work early enough that I could go get some tools. I'm not huge on buying specific tools for things. So they do sell, BRP sells a tool specifically for pulling the caliper off. I really didn't feel like that bar and 2 hooks and bolt was worth $30. I could be proved wrong, but I figured I'd pick up like an actual puller set to be able to get that caliper off. So I went and I picked up this bolt type wheel puller set. It's got a whole bunch of different, you know, holes to be able to pull different items. I'm hoping that this spread right here will be good for me to get that caliper off. I also picked up some extra mechanics tools. Obviously they're not the best, but I'm happy with having something rather than nothing. They're 6-point, 3/8 drive. We'll see how they go, but this is going to be hopefully the lifesaver. Alright guys, so I was pretty much immediately proved wrong. It touches the 2 bolts, but I cannot get the bolts through the holes and the puller all at the same time, because it is just too short this way. So it sucks, but it's a $15 tool, so really can't expect that much from it. I am going to think on that, because obviously I still have to try to get the tool before we go up north this weekend. But until that time comes, I'm going to work on getting these hyfax off, which probably seen better days. Alrighty, so this part did actually go about as smooth as I expected it to. So you take the screw out up here that holds it on, which ends up being up in the front of the skid, up here. And then you just kind of grab the back, hold the skid still, and just pull it. Obviously I already got that one done. It looks like the way that these rails are set up, there's a little bit of extra aluminum left on the backside. On this one I had to file off a little flare. It does not look like I have to do that. There's a little burr on the bottom, but I just take like a little flat file and run it along until this entire edge right here doesn't have a gap. So, but that's about it. Just take it down so that way it slides on. They are definitely worn. Not quite as bad as I expected them to be, but nonetheless, definitely worn down. The new one's on the left, old one's on the right. You can definitely tell where the different wheels were, supporting it and pushing the track in. So, it's a good time to do it. Alright, so I got it. I'm so happy right now. So essentially, I had some 1/4 inch all thread laying around, some couplings, stack of washers. As you can see, it's not straight, but I was able to pull it all off. I just got to unbolt everything now and slide this the rest of the way off, and now we can really get moving on getting this track in. Alright, so I finally got the drive gear out, or drive assembly, whatever it is. Caliper's still in, connected. You just kind of got to tip it back and rock it up, and it's a little bit of a puzzle piece, but once you get that out, the entire track will just roll right up. So I think that's going to be enough for tonight. Now that I got it out, I can come back tomorrow and get everything back in for the track, and we'll be on our way to snowmobiling in the UP this weekend. Pumped. Excited for it. I know I didn't get to show the entire process behind it, but I mean, once I got the actual caliper piece popped off of the drive gear, I was able to kind of unbolt and swing the caliper out and then shimmy the drive gear one way and then down, and then I was able to pull the track out. So now we've got the new track laid out over here. I've had it hanging up in the garage to kind of get it to unwrap and fully straighten out, so that way it fights us a little bit less. So we're gonna focus on getting that back in, which is seems like the only hard part is going to be trying to get the track to stay up while we wiggle the drive gear in without beating up on it. Yeah. Alright, so once you kind of get it, you got to shove it through on the brake side and then rock it back into the chain case side. So once you get it in, you get it set all the way over, there's this little lock ring right here, and it's got 2 tabs. And basically, you've got to line them up with their 2 slots. And so once you get it seated so that it locks in right here, you just got to twist it, which normally you end up having to get like a hammer and kind of tap it over. But if you take the camera and you come over here, you can actually see the tabs right here, right there. Note to self, don't forget to put the rotor on before you hit the caliper back. It doesn't quite work.
Pretty much just got it started thread-wise on the top one, move them to the bottom one, and just gonna slowly kind of suck it in that way. Alright, so we're finishing getting this all back together, and then obviously there's covers and everything. We'll show you all that.
So what we did is we got everything kind of lined up, and then I put all of the actual caliper bolts, which kind of fit through these windows in the rotor. Put all of them in. So I kind of put the top in, put the bottom in, worked in like a crisscross pattern, tighten a little bit at a time, and then once I got it all the way seated, all the way back to where it should be, I pulled one bolt out at a time, and I put some of this Loctite, which actually this stuff works really nicely. I mean, obviously I don't know if it actually works, but the way that it applies is a lot easier than that stupid little tube in the running fluid. So put a little bit of blue Loctite onto them, and then ran them back in individually and waited to pull the next one out until I was done with the first. That way it didn't, I don't think it would accidentally walk its way back out, but I don't want to find out. So
we've got the skid kind of just like started in there. It's definitely helpful to have two people for this part, just because getting it finagled in there is a lot easier. I have seen a lot of people, they just lay the whole thing on its side and get it in there, but we just got it hanging up and we're getting it in there. So you've got your track, everything back in. You're just gonna throw your chain case together. Same thing as taking it apart, super simple, putting your battery tray, everything back together, and you're all good. So we're not going to show you any of that because same thing as taking it off. So we'll just show you everything back together and running. All right, so as you can see, track's fully back on, back together. We've had it out here all weekend, and I'd say it's performing pretty phenomenally.
yep.
A couple other things Tim added to the sled. Not really added, but he readjusted the position of his riser.
Just trying to get the T-post in line so that way everything goes and you can really get into it. I put on this like seat back extension and oil bag inside the, on top of the clutch cover. So just a few little things, but little things hopefully make a lot of difference. So I'll take that inside now. And we got the track up here. So I got it adjusted in the garage. A bunch of different information on how to actually set it. You know, everything from like what Skidoo actually recommends to everybody's backyard recommendations. So I kind of followed the backyard recommendations. Basically, I set it up so. Come in a little closer. Basically, I set it up so the track, when the back of the sled is up, the track hangs about an inch down from this rubber suspension block. If you measure from the hyfax to the track at this suspension block, I measured an inch of free sag, which puts it about, if you look at the teeth on this, or the, whatever these are called, it puts those like right beneath the hyfax, the bottom of the hyfax. And then ran it a little bit, got it aligned so that way it's even spacing. And I might have to do it again when I get home, just so that way, you know, because the track's gonna stretch when you start running it. But as for this weekend, the backyard test does seem to be proven true. So
pretty solid. So
yep.
Well, we hope this was helpful as far as, you know, a guide to help you get this track replaced. You know, we're gonna be doing a bunch of snowmobiling this winter, so subscribe to the channel. Next week's video will be this weekend trip that we took. You know, we hit a little bit of trails, did some boondocking. The snow's not super deep, but we were able to have some fun in it. So subscribe to the channel if you want to see that. If they found this helpful, hit that like button. Once again, I'm Vinny with Caswell Customs.
And I'm Tim.
And we'll see you in the next one.
See ya.
Holy shit. Oh man.
How did that feel?
Oh, that was so sketchy.
You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig in?